Hey guys, all done with trading for today on Friday, September 18th. Took a little red day today, and the reason why is because I broke my own rules, and we have rules and we put our rules in place for a reason. And when we talk ourselves into breaking them, 9 times out of 10, it just doesn't work out. So, you always feel stupid afterwards that you broke your own rule and it went against you. So actually I was trading one of the top stocks on my watch list, which ended up being a good pick. I just didn't. So I watched it at the open and I was looking for it to break out over the pre-market highs, and it didn't. It started selling off and didn't look very strong. So I ignored it and went to other stocks, and I think I came back to it and it was starting to curl, but I just didn't really have much faith in it at that point. And then, going through other stocks, then I finally came back, and by the time I got back to it, it had, I think it was on this candle here, so it had this, quite a big run, and it's really dangerous to get in at this point. So I was watching it and waiting for a pullback. So essentially it looked like this. Well, I guess it looked like that when I found it, and then I watched that candle form, and the stock broke the pre-market highs, pulled back a little, and I just figured, okay, well, the pullback is coming. I'll wait for the pullback and then get in on the reversal. So I'm watching this candle form, and then I watch that candle form, and I notice, okay, the kind of the difference here between the lows isn't that much, like not nearly as much as the difference here. So it seems like there's still a lot more buyers than there are sellers, and that the stock had a lot of potential to go higher, but it still didn't buy in yet because these are lower lows. So it looks like it's still going down. And then on this candle, so I think I bought the breakout of this candle here, or actually I tried to get in on this and I missed it, and the price was kind of jumping around here, and I think I was feeling FOMO, which is really bad, and to kind of get caught up in that stupid emotion. And I kind of got in just a little bit above this candle, but this had already happened. I think that pop had already happened, and I was kind of hoping that this trend would just kind of continue here, which it does happen sometimes, but right now the market is really unpredictable. So that was really stupid of me to get in there. If I would have gotten in at the break of this candle, I probably would have noticed the choppiness up here, and I probably would have gotten out with a small profit. But it's just like one bad thing after another, and that's when these things go bad, that's generally how it happens. It's like not just one mistake; it's multiple mistakes leading up to a loss. So at this point, I'm in the trade, and I think the price is bouncing around here. I think I got filled at like 241, and the high of this candle is 232, so 9 cents higher than I would have wanted to get filled at 233, so 8 cents higher than I wanted to get filled, and even higher than this candle. I mean, it's really bad. I think I must have bought in while this candle was jumping up. I was thinking it was going to break the high of this candle and continue, but no excuses. I mean, this is just a mess. And so anyway, I'm in the trade over here, and the thing starts flushing down, and I guess it didn't flush down on this candle because by here you can tell it opened, but so I guess it was just chopping around here. So I had my stop loss set. Actually, I had it below this candle. I guess I just really, this is bad too. I wanted to be in this trade. I thought that the stock looked really strong, which, yeah, it does look strong here, but that doesn't guarantee anything. It just increases the chances of a breakout, but it doesn't mean that you should have a stop loss that's any bigger than you normally would. Like, my normal routine is just to set it below the low of the previous candle that I entered in. So I should have had it around 226 or 225. Instead, I had it around 224 or 223. So an extra couple of cents per share. And then as this thing played out, just more choppiness. This is not looking good. But the lows never got anywhere near my stop, so here I'm just talking myself into staying in the trade at this point and hoping for the best, which is it's no strategy. And then this happens. This is a sign of weakness. Still just, holding firm to my stop. But this is not good. This is like, this is where it should have continued up, and it didn't. And if I was smarter in the moment, I would have just stopped out there. So it continues on. Now it's like, getting ready to kiss my stop. And now I'm just feeling like, wow, this is so stupid that I stayed this long. Now, I'm pretty much guaranteed to take a loss unless I get super lucky. So I just kept my stop loss where it was. It would have been better off to move it up and take the loss. Oh, actually, this is the very worst part of it is at some point, I don't remember if it was in this candle or this one, I broke another rule. This is like a cardinal sin for me, is averaging down. Averaging down is one of the dumbest things you can do, because if you feel the need to average down, it's a sign that the trade is failing. Why are you averaging down? Because the price is dropping. If the trade, if the price was popping up like you thought it would, there would be no chance to average down. So, I'm watching this thing chop around. I know I shouldn't average down. I have that as a written rule. And I just convinced myself that, this thing, was trading really strong in the pre-market. Did this like nice little consolidation and then had this really nice uptrend here. And that, this is just consolidation, and, I'm going to average down and bring my price down a little lower because I got in too high. I think my average ended up being around like 235, still higher than where I wanted to be. And now I have twice the share size, so I'm taking twice the loss that I would have. A little less just because of the average down, but still, it's a really dumb move. And then, so my stop loss, I believe, was at let's see, where's the low of this thing? Yeah, it was at 222. So did I get stopped on this candle? Nope. Still in it for another candle, and then it flushes down right here, and that's where I get stopped out. Really, really dumb trade. The only good thing is that I took my stop, but I mean that's kind of like saying, I got a 10% on a test, so I got one question right out of 10. I mean, you don't get any awards for that. So anyway, I mean, it's not to take anything away from the importance of taking your stops. That 10% that I did get for taking my stop would have been really bad, worse than an F if I would have just held and hoped. And I don't know if this thing ever recovered or not, but it doesn't really matter. I don't like to stay in anywhere near as long as I did on trades anyway. I'm a scalper, so I want to be in and out in one or two candles. So the fact that I held this so long waiting for it to pop back up, it just goes against everything that I do, and I paid the price for it. And look what happened. I mean, if I would have held, my stop was over here. If I would have kept, dropping my stop, who knows, how big the loss would have been. And then, oh, look, let's say you moved your stop down and you're holding, and then you see this, oh, it's coming back around, and boom, nope, it's still dropping. So even with all this strength, the really nice pre-market chart, this thing just kept on trading down. Popped up here. That's about where my stop loss was at. So, right now it's like 10:35. And I was in this thing around 9:30, so I'd be sitting on this thing an hour. I don't hold and hope, but I mean, if I did, I'd be sitting in this thing an hour later, still dealing with this thing chopping around like this. And it's so not worth it. I mean, like I said, the only good thing I did was take my stop. And this is, so the two lessons here are always take your stop loss, but even before that, don't ever average down. I could have had my losses be half of what they were if I wouldn't have averaged down. And I also should have had my stop higher. I talked myself into, oh no, this thing's really strong. But this just goes to show you how like the patterns don't always work, no matter how good they are. This is like a textbook buy setup, and it failed. So, you cannot trust these patterns. You have to even if the chances of them not failing, were 90%, you have to be ready for that 10% chance that they do fail. And right now, I think the chances of failure are much higher than that because the market is really whipping around lately. It's very unstable. So if you play any of these setups, I think you just have to keep those stops super tight. That way, if they fail, you keep your losses down. So if I would have done what I was supposed to, like let's say I would have got in here, like I said, I probably would have noticed that it didn't seem that strong and would have got out with a small profit. But let's say that didn't happen either, and I took my stop where I should have, which was just below the low of this candle. Then my next move would have been to keep an eye on this thing to see if, well, that was just kind of like a fake out and that this thing really is going to rip up eventually. So now I'd be watching here and okay, this is like another pullback, looking for the first candle to make a new high, and I would be looking for over that one, but it looks like none of these did. So I wouldn't have gotten triggered, and then this thing would have continued down, and I would have realized, okay, now this thing is just selling off, and I would have ignored it. The other thing I could have done to play this a little safer is, once the market is opened a few minutes, I really like to play the 5-minute chart because I find the 5-minute patterns to be much more reliable. So again, I don't think I would have caught this because I was looking around somewhere else. But one play, I guess you could take the breakout of the high of this candle and ride that up. But after that, I would have been. This almost, actually I was watching this form on the 5-minute chart, and at first it looked like it was a 3-bar play type of setup with a small red candle here, and I was getting ready to put in an order for the breakout here at like 243. But then this much of the candle was formed. It was like this little piece here, so it looked like a nice textbook 3-bar play and coming out of consolidation. So it's kind of the beginning of a move. And then, basically as I put in my order, it started to flush down and got below halfway through this candle. So I canceled the order and, because it's not a real 3-bar play anymore. So if I would have just kind of, read into that stuff and said, hey, look, that all these patterns are failing, even though on the 1-minute chart it looked pretty nice. The 1-minute chart, it's like I said, just not as reliable as the 5-minute, and that's really it. I just wanted to share that because that was kind of my dumbest play of the day. All my other trades were green trades, but this trade was so bad that I still ended the day red. And that's what I get for breaking my rules. It's like how many times do you have to break your rules and get burned until you stop breaking them? What I notice is that the longer that I'm trading, the span of time between me breaking my rules increases, which I guess is a good, it definitely is a good thing. But I just want to get to the point where I stop breaking them altogether because it never works out. I guess you get complacent. Time goes by, you don't break any rules. You're trading well and you start thinking you can get away with things again, and then this happens. So the truth is you can't. Those rules are rules for a reason. They're not made to be broken. The 1 out of 10 times that you break the rules and it works out is just not enough to make up for all the times that it's going to fail. So anyway, that's it for me for this week. I ended the whole week green. I had all my other days were green. I think I maybe made let me see, like about 1.5% on my whole account for the week, which is less than my goal. My goal is like 5%, but lately that's just like super hard to accomplish in this market. So, oh no, I'm sorry, not 1.5%. I made 3% on the account this week. So 2% less than half, a little more than halfway there. But again, I'm kind of grateful for any green weeks at this point. It's been tough lately. All right, hope you guys are doing well and having green weeks yourself. I'll see you next week.